Matt Walsh and Tucker Carlson blast Canada, specifically the MAID program. We'll react to some of their takes from this interview here.
They are.
Well, Canada's not even a country.
Right, it's not even a country, and they are overwhelmed with guilt. They are so.
Well, they're murdering. The government is murdering tens of thousands of its citizens every year. They're almost all white, and now they're going to be doing it to kids. And by the way, under the MAID's program, they're harvesting the organs. They're harvesting the organs from the Canadians they kill. So this is like the darkest thing. That's like, I would feel much freer and safer living in China than Canada.
I looked up the harvesting the organs thing. I think that's just being an organ donor or not. Maybe I don't fully understand, though, what Tucker is saying.
I can't believe I'm saying that. I actually love Canada. But that's happening, and no one's saying a word about it.
Yeah, it's so
true. Canadians don't complain nearly enough. It's incredible. The country continues to drift to the far left. Barely any Canadians complain. A few people online, a little bit. In real life, people hardly complain, at least in public.
In particular, is one of those things that it's so dark and so depraved that when you talk about it, I think a lot of people, especially in America, they think you're making it up or you're exaggerating.
I almost don't talk about it very often because I don't think anyone believes it, but I live right near Canada, and I know, and I'm like the only American who really sincerely loves Canada because it's just so beautiful. Not the only, but not many people care about Canada. I do.
Remember when he came to Canada a few years ago? That was great.
A controversial right-wing commentator held the attention of thousands of Albertans, including the Premier this afternoon. Tucker Carlson, who was fired by Fox News last year, is often accused of spreading dangerous rhetoric and misinformation. Tim Brooke has more from inside the TELUS Convention Center.
One of the most popular Americans there is, not even in politics, just in all of America. Controversial. He spreads a bunch of stuff. Why does Canada insist on being a joke? Why?
I know a lot of Canadians, and that's absolutely, you'll look it up on the inner tubes. It's there.
It's becoming one of the leading causes of death.
We are truly becoming a national embarrassment with this. MAID is so obviously evil.
More than 15,000 people a year have a medically assisted death in Canada. The vast majority are terminally ill, and many of them choose to die at home.
This theater feels like the most special, unique place on earth.
Incredible. BBC, this is in the United Kingdom, has assisted dying in Canada gone too far. BBC, not a far-right program, mainstream media program.
It's becoming one of the leading causes of death.
It is one of the leading causes of death.
Is assisted suicide. I mean, just
the government killing you, and not because you have ALS, but because you can't pay your rent.
Okay, I'll get back to Tucker in a second, but I came across this post on X a little while ago. I'm about as far left as you can get, but we do have problems with MAID in Canada. How do I know? It was offered to me in lieu of care. Crazy. I'm disabled. I was alone. My condition's expensive. Yes, I was allowed to say no, but no alternative care was offered. That's coercion. And I think I have seen this person posting on X before. I think they are like a far left person. So I don't think they naturally would be critical of MAID.
And then extending it to children and then harvesting the organs and the blood. I mean, I feel like they're a way bigger threat to the United States than Venezuela. I would be open to an argument in favor of invading and occupying Canada on human rights grounds. I'm not joking even a tiny bit. I think it's one of the darkest countries in the world. And it's such a great country with such great people. I don't know how we can allow this to happen without at least saying something about it. I'm not actually arguing for military action, but like maybe threatening it.
Again, it's incredible. How far left will Canada go before things like that are seriously considered? It's actually scary. Even Bill Maher, a left-wing person in America, has raised alarms about how left Canada has gotten. He didn't say the same thing Tucker did, but take a look.
Last year, Canada added 1.3 million people, which is a lot in 1 year, the equivalent of the U.S. adding 11 million migrants in 1 year. And now they're experiencing a housing crisis even worse than ours. They say in politics, liberals are the gas pedal and conservatives are the brakes. And I'm generally with the gas pedal, but not if we're driving off a cliff. On the trans issue, America is no and.
That is Canada. It just is. Things are getting worse and worse.
I think one of the things that's happening, why are people ignoring this in America? Well, one thing, it's people, it's like not your country, so you think it doesn't affect you. I think it does affect us because also like when you look at Canada and Europe and we're on the same kind of crazy train. They're just a few train cars up. And so that's why you got to pay attention to where they are, because we're going to be there. So that's one thing.
Yes, thank you.
But
so true. That's how I feel about Europe with free speech. I think Canada, it's only a matter of time before we get there, where people are getting arrested in huge numbers for what they're posting on X. I'm actually kind of surprised we're not there yet. I know people in professional settings can't speak their minds like they probably would. As a YouTuber, still, I feel like I can basically say whatever I want, but in 10 years from now, I don't know.
And once you give the state and the medical establishment the authority to kill, they will not stop. It always starts with the most justifiable version of it that they can muster.
He's making a great point.
Which is still totally unjustifiable in my view. But they always starts with the most justifiable version, and then next it's like, okay, yeah, but yeah, we should include people who maybe they're not terminally ill, but they're chronically ill and they're a lot of pain. And okay, now we've included them. Well, what about mental illnesses? Well, what about this person over there? He's homeless. Yeah, he's not terminally ill, but his life has no meaning and he's terrible. He lives on the street.
Yeah, this is the way things go. And then it gets to children and teens, mental health.
If you don't know what MAID is, it's medical assisted death in Canada. And it is currently being studied for teens and children. And the Liberals tried actually expanding this.
I mean, this is insanity.
Originally to mental health, which is a whole other conversation I'll get to in 1 second. But this pamphlet talks about removing the minimum age of eligibility and how children are uniquely vulnerable. And the committee also suggested that parents may not be consulted and wouldn't need to consent to their child's death via MAID.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
The other thing is when you give the medical establishment, when you accept the idea that death is a treatment, you have opened the darkest door imaginable.
Yes.
That is so profound. That is brutal. Canada, oh my, I don't even really think just me ranting about it justifies. This is so stupid what we are doing. I remember back in, I think, 2021, maybe 2019, this was a question at one of the leadership debates. I think that was the first time literally I had ever even heard of such a thing. And I remember watching it like, what? This is a real question? Here's the 2019 debate. It's in French, then it's translated to English. It's kind of annoying though, so I'm only going to play a little bit of the person that ended up winning that election, Justin Trudeau.
And we need to be there as a government to help you navigate these difficult questions. Yes, we are going to relax the law in the next 6 months because we have recognized from the beginning that this was a new law. We had to find a balance between protecting the most vulnerable and respecting people's rights and people's individual choices. And we understood even 3 or 4 years ago when we proposed this law that the courts and that society, everyone was going to evolve, and we will continue to evolve with them. Thank you for your question.
So translated from French, talking about relaxing the law, he's talking there about MAID.
And that was the point with euthanasia. Once you allow the medical establishment to use death, murder, as a form of medical treatment, you've completely flipped it on its head, because the whole point of medicine is to heal and treat. And so to avoid death and pain. Like, that's the point of it.
Exactly.
And now you've flipped it upside down, and you've said that death is the treatment. And so now you've just destroyed the whole thing. You've destroyed it. And
he's so right. Oh my gosh, that is such a great way of putting it. We got to get our shit together in Canada. With that said, I'll finish the video. Please like, please subscribe, and please complain more in public. Just complain about stuff. Don't get fired from your job, but if Canadians just complained, things would improve. I truly believe that. I will keep saying that. Have a great day.